Every season, someone becomes the final piece, a record signing, a headline maker, the man who's supposed to complete the puzzle and bring home all the glory. But how often does that actually work? From shattered expectations to ridiculous wages, the myth of the final piece might just be the most expensive illusion in modern football. 𝗵𝗵𝗴𝗍 here with 442. Let's talk about it. Like I just mentioned, in football, the final piece is the player who supposedly completes a team. He's the solution to the one thing that's been missing, a goal scorer to convert dominance into results, a creative spark in the midfield to break low blocks, or a dominant defender to plug the leaking holes. It's a narrative that appeals to everyone, but beneath the surface, the logic is totally flawed. And let me explain why. It might be on Ultimate Team, but real life football is just not a game you win by dropping in a big name and hoping for the best. It's a machine, and if the gears aren't right, it doesn't run. Simple. No single player is going to fix a broken setup. Let's start with Exhibit A, and I'm going to roll back the years a little bit to January 2018. I'll never forget, United tweeted a video. I've clicked on it to see Alexis Sanchez playing the piano to the tune of Glory, Glory, Man United. And as an Arsenal fan, that broke me. I was devastated. My heart was genuinely broken. We just lost our best player, 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗔-𝗧𝗜𝗍, to United, who surely go on and challenge for titles now, no? Yeah, maybe not. Alexis Sanchez to Man United was an absolute disaster. Although they paid nothing in fees, Sanchez was earning so much dough a week, 500k to be exact, he broke the club's entire wage structure. And at the time, we thought nothing of it because he was one of the best forwards on the planet, Arsenal's main man. And he was free, no brainer. But this is the perfect example of a failed final piece. Sanchez was chaos at Arsenal, in a good way. He thrived on the freedom he had there, bit of improvisation and instinct. But Mourinho's system was and will always be the more rigid, conservative style of play. So where did Sanchez fit? The answer is that he didn't. This wasn't a calculated signing, it was a vanity signing. A club craving status made a symbolic big name move and completely ignored the strategy. 5 goals in 45 league games, 0 real impact moments, 1 piano, and that's all you need to know really. Let me hit you with another one. January 2011, Chelsea go and splash £50 million on Fernando Torres. Oh my word, what a signing! Fernando Torres! Now that was a statement from Chelsea, one of the biggest, baddest number 9s on the planet. Now in fairness to Torres, he did have an impact for Chelsea in the end, with that goal at the Camp Nou that almost sent Gary Neville to A&E.
It's Torres to give Chelsea a place in the Champions League final. The headline has been written.
But apart from that, it's fair to say that move didn't exactly go to plan. But why? Fernando Torres, Premier League proven, in his prime, a British record transfer fee. It was Chelsea trying to draw a line in the sand. We are still here. We still mean business. And that's how it was sold. Torres wasn't brought in to build something. He was the final piece. But what Chelsea got wasn't the Fernando Torres they thought they were buying. What they got was a striker running on fumes, battered physically, drained mentally, and thrown into a squad that didn't need fixing. It needed evolving. And that's what makes this move such a perfect example of the final piece illusion. Chelsea weren't building a team, they were plugging away at the holes with names. They looked at the ageing core, Lampard, Drogba, Terry, and thought Torres would be the spark to carry them through that last run. One last little burst of glory before the rebuild. Fact of the matter is, Chelsea's system didn't suit him at all. He thrived at Liverpool with space to run into, with Gerrard slipping balls through the lines, with defenders backing off and panic setting in. At Chelsea, it was completely different. Possession-based, more static, slower transitions. He didn't look sharp, he didn't look confident. And with every missed chance, every heavy touch, the pressure grew and grew. And he became far more than just a struggling player. He became a symbol of panic, the £50 million gamble that backfired. I could go on and on and on. Hazard to Madrid, Grealish to City, Lukaku to Chelsea, Sancho to United. But look, let's be fair, sometimes it does work. Look at Van Dijk at Liverpool. That made sense from day one. Klopp's team already had an identity. They were on the brink of greatness. One of the best attacks in Europe, high energy, high press, fullbacks flying forward, but defensively, they were too soft. They needed a proper leader, someone to anchor that chaos and give the team a bit more balance. And who else but Big Verge to fill that void? Thanks to who he was and what he's capable of, suddenly Liverpool could trust their own back line. They could control games instead of just surviving them. And that's the point. He didn't have to transform a mess. That's not what he was brought in for. He was brought in to complete something that was already nearly there. Same story, well, kind of, with Bruno Fernandes at Man United. He walked into a team that lacked ideas, energy and direction. And almost overnight, he became the engine. Goals, assists, intensity, leadership. For a while, it looked like he was the missing link. But the difference is, United weren't actually ready. They hadn't built the system. They didn't have the foundation. And when Bruno's form dipped, everything around him did too. Because while he gave them a massive lift, he couldn't carry the whole thing by himself. So yeah, sometimes a big signing does hit. Sometimes the final piece does hit, but only when it's not actually trying to fix the team. Only when it's backing up a plan that already makes perfect sense. That's the difference. Van Dijk was the final step in a proper build. Bruno was more of a brilliant bandage. And in this game, that gap matters quite a lot. The final piece is a flawed concept. It sells this illusion that a team is complete, just missing one man, one fix. But football isn't clean like that. It's not a puzzle. If the structure's broken, no one signing is going to hold it together. Because that's the core of it. The final piece myth depends on the idea that football is tidy, that it's about filling gaps. But in reality, it's not just gaps that break teams. It's the fractures beneath the surface. All the small issues piling up, tactical confusion, poor recruitment, fading culture. And no matter how good a player is, you can't polish a turd in football. And that's why these moves fail so often, because they're not really about football. They're about optics, owners trying to shift headlines, boards trying to buy a bit more time. And the final piece, by definition, is a fantasy built on shortcuts. It skips the plan, skips the graft. It pretends that one player is enough to just bypass the messy, slow, necessary process of building an actual proper football team. When a signing is treated as a solution instead of just part of a bigger picture, everything around it starts to unravel. Wages explode, the dressing room loses its balance, and expectations spiral way out of control. When it doesn't work straight away, the fallout is brutal. Managers get blamed straight away, players start to lose confidence, and the pressure intensifies fast. Before long, the whole cycle just repeats itself again and again. Panic buys, scapegoats, and rebuilds that never truly begin. Ultimately, the best teams on the planet aren't just completed overnight. It takes time. They're built steadily from the ground up. That's what wins in football, not flashy, overpriced, here we goes. So the next time you hear someone say a club is one piece away, pause for a quick second, take a step back, because if a team truly needs a hero to finish it, chances are they're nowhere near ready to be finished at all. Am I talking out my backside, or am I making sense? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Till next time.